What's up? Welcome back. So we're going to talk about Capricorn Rising and who your boo is, all right? This video is going to be according to your 7th house cusp. And your 7th house cusp I'm going to be talking about is Cancer specifically. So if you have an interception, just wait until you hear me talk about the specific cusp that I'm going to be covering. But this is going to be the Cancer cusp on the 7th house. The 7th house refers to your partnerships, best friend, business partners, and the person you end up marrying or being in long-term relationships with. Okay, so Capricorn Rising, I'm also going to talk about your Decan Rising towards the end of this video, but first we're going to talk about your 7th house. I am reading out of the Astrology, A Cosmic Science from Isabella Hickey. I love this book, and yeah, let's get right into it. So if you guys don't know, there's 30 degrees to every single sign, and the decans are split into 10 degrees each. So think about it as an evolution, okay? Each sign, each water placement takes on the element of the next water placement of itself. Each fire placement takes on the element of the next fireplace of itself. Okay, it's like an evolution, you know, like a level up. It goes through all the phases. So for Cancer, if your rising is at Capricorn between 0 and 10 degrees, then your 7th house I'm talking about is going to be from 0 to 10 degrees in Cancer specifically. And for that, it is going to be ruled by the moon. So it's double Cancer energy. And I'm going to read out of this book first, the excerpt that she wrote. So it says, reacts more subconsciously than consciously to life, timid and shy in early life, receptivity strong, needs to learn not to respond emotionally to impressions or feelings. So, first of all, I should have said this first, but Cancer essentially with Capricorn Rising, because you grew up fast, you grew up with a lot of responsibilities, you grew up with a lot of restrictions, rules, in some way, shape, or form. There was some kind of barrier, some type of limitation to your fun as a child, and even there could have been some emotional detachment or lack of emotional care. You need somebody who's going to be like a Cancer, okay? This person might not have Cancer placements, but they might have a lot of moon aspects, or they might have a lot of 4th house planets. So essentially you need somebody who can help you attain emotional security and safety, somebody you can fucking cry in front of. That's essentially what you need as a Capricorn rising. You need somebody that you could really genuinely let your emotions out, because Cancer is about finding safety. It's about finding the roots to your home, somebody who reminds you of family member or what a family should be. Now, it doesn't mean that you came from a horrible household with a Capricorn rising, but there were just more struggles than other households. You could have also been the eldest child, meaning that you got a lot of responsibilities, okay? A lot of times Capricorn is the eldest child. So you need somebody who is a family environment. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you want it to be somebody that reminds you of your family, and sometimes it's going to be somebody who's from your past, or somebody that can be from your hometown, okay? Or your home country, depending on where you're living right now. Because Cancer rules the roots, the home, close to home, all right? So that's just a general energy for Cancer. But now when you have 0 to 10 degrees in your 7th house cusp, we're talking about double Cancer energy. So this person is extremely attached to their past. Extremely nostalgic, okay? It's hard for them to get over things. You can definitely meet them through a family member or a family friend. This could be definitely through your mom or through your dad. You know, something like, oh, let me hook you up, baby, type of that stuff. But with the double moon energy, the person could definitely have some type of interesting relationship with their mother. That's going to be really important. Now, aspects to your moon are going to show you what kind of relationship that's going to be. If it's squares, it could be a tumultuous relationship. If it's opposition, it could be a give and take. If it's trine and sextiles, there could be an ease. But again, it depends on what it is, because this also could be a person who's smothered, okay, and has a helicopter mother. So don't forget about that. Or somebody who's always tight-knit with their family, all right? Cancer can also deal with property. This person could be into real estate. They can also work from home, work for themselves in some way, shape, or form, or work for their family, okay? Or work specifically with women. This can also be a nurse, a caretaker of some kind of way, shape, or form as well. And what else does the moon can deal with? The moon deals with nurseries. So something in that space as well. So it's about nurturing, being taken care of, and somebody who seems extremely familiar to you. And there's going to be a lot of emotional work to do in this relationship, because your rising sign is double Saturn. And so it's been really, really hard for you, and you need somebody with water energy. And you might think of them as weak or as too vulnerable, but they are going to be your safe space. They're going to be a home for you, somebody that you can build a home with, somebody that you can have a family with, combine your legacy with the family, somebody to pass things down to. And yeah, that's going to be with that double moon energy. This person can be extremely intuitive, extremely creative, and very, very, very private. Because Cancer is just as private as Scorpio. All water signs are private because they like to keep things and contain things to themselves. However, this person should be emotionally available and have a lot of emotional intelligence and self-awareness, meaning that they can actually explain to you how they're feeling, even though they might just be a mess sometimes, okay? These people can be a little bit, be very, 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 very sensitive. Very, extremely sensitive. And like I said, they're responding out of, they're very reactionary when it comes to their emotions because they're reacting off of past things. And so there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of emotions. Now, if you have your 7th house, or say if you have your rising in 10 to 20 degrees and your 7th house is going to be in 10 to 20 degrees, you're going to be having Cancer with Mars, okay, or Pluto, which is Scorpio. This Cancer with Scorpio energy. So the first one is double Cancer. This next one is Cancer Scorpio energy. This is mystical tendency strong. Note the aspects to the 8th house and the aspects between Moon and Mars in your own personal chart. Strong tenacity and stubbornness has to overcome resentment and jealousy. So Moon, Mars, you have to look in your chart and see what are they fighting for emotionally, okay? Very protective people, very private people as well. There's going to be some secrets there, some family secrets that really impact and has a lot of psychology over how they feel, okay? There's going to be a need to protect their emotions a lot. These people are very much driven by how they feel, and they will fight for how they feel. All right. Now, with this being said, with the Moon and Mars, this person could be in some type of like cooking. They could be also in real estate or dealing with land development. They can also be in like the what I want to call it, the emergency field, like EMTs or something of that nature, like people who can deal with crisis, like working in the emergency room, ER doctor, ER nurse. This can also be a healer. This can be a shaman. This could be a doula, you know, a death doula, a birth doula, somebody of that nature as well. This person can also deal with maybe flipping houses could be a thing, because Mars is like quick, okay, action, quick money. They can definitely have some strife and some irritation when it comes to their family, or they're going to always feel like they have to fight and protect for their family, things of that nature as well. This person's going to be emotionally, their sex drive is going to be driven by their emotions, okay? Those two have to go hand in hand. They have to be emotionally attracted to you to be sexually attracted to you most of the time. If not, then it's not going to be really a deep connection. Those two have to be spoken about. This person can be highly irritable. They can have indigestion issues, okay, because that Mars Moon is the stomach, so there could be issues with that as well. Like gut issues overall, like they're gonna have to deal with their gut somehow, some way, shape, or form, bloating. And this could be the first Decan as well. Definitely a lot more bloating for the first Decan, and this one is more irritation, indigestion, ulcers, even something of that nature too. And this person could be, as the book said, mystical, meaning that they have gifts, like psychic gifts. Because of that Moon Mars, this makes them drive, like dig down deep, want to get into the past, want to know why you are the way that you are. Also can have a psychological stronghold over you, can have a lot of emotional power over you because of that Scorpio Cancer energy. So there's going to be a lot of emotional ownership that's going to have to be learned in this relationship. Power dynamics about how emotions can drive you or drive them, or how they are tethered to one another. You know, like how you guys can impact each other's feelings. And this is going to be a really thing. And it can impact each other to be inspired and motivated, or it can impact each other to fight. You know what I'm saying? Because Mars is also conflicts. So there could be a lot of emotional conflicts, a lot of fights between you and that person because of misunderstanding emotions. So just make sure you know that. And it says stubbornness, right? And resentment and jealousy could absolutely be a thing. Spending, you know, especially if there's a child that comes up, or there's a, you know, stepchild involved, or this could be a situation where you become, somebody becomes pregnant and then the other person feels like resentment or so, because your emotions basically are now being dispersed, you know, because when you have Cancer on the 7th, the person requires a lot of your emotional attention. They want a lot of that out of you. So making sure the Moon and Mars aspects are in a good space, because when, you know, Moon is squared up with Mars, there could be a lot of fights within the family, a lot of fights over what I meant versus what I feel. You know what I'm saying? My action versus what I feel, things of that nature. Okay. The positives are going to be, they're going to want to attain wealth for their family. There can definitely be some things around money there, but there could be also money going up and down, because Pluto brings crisis, so it can bring extreme things. So it could bring extreme wealth, it could bring extreme poverty. Again, you'll have to see how they're aspected. And squares don't mean that you're not going to be successful. It just means there's something that you have to block, that's blocked within yourself, that you have to move out the way so you can get to your goal. Okay, because I have squares in my chart and I'm still a successful person. So squares give you character, they drive, they push you, you know what I'm saying? And Moon and Mars don't always stay squared up in your chart, because the Moon has to move, Mars has to move at some point. So they will be coming out that square if you do have it. And this happens with the faster planets like Mercury, Venus, Moon, and Mars. It's the outer planets that cause more issues for a longer time in your life. So now we're moving on to the third decan. If your rising is Capricorn is 20 to 30 degrees, then your 7th house should be Cancer, 20 to 30 degrees. And that's going to be ruled by Neptune, this is giving Cancer and Pisces energy. It says here, sympathetic nature, very emotional and apt to over-identifying with passing currents. Sponges that absorb atmospheres, very psychic, can be martyrs or servers of the race. So this could be very much a martyr, victim, savior relationship that's happening here, whether you're trying to toughen your partner up because they're too emotional, or because you see them as weak, or if they're trying to soften you up because they see you as too fucking hard. There's going to be some type of dynamic where somebody feels that they have to do something for the other one, sacrifice something for the other one. So there's going to be a theme of sacrifice here, much larger than other placements because of that Pisces specific energy. Pisces there can create emotional confusion. There can be emotional disappointments, lost expectations. There can also literally be loss of some type of way, shape, or form, and there can also be distance. Your person could be a foreigner, or somebody that comes from across seas, so this can create a long distance relationship. This can also create a very spiritual relationship where the person comes in and out of your life kind of like a movie character or like a ghost. The person, you see them sometimes, sometimes you don't, but you're always constantly thinking about them, fantasizing about them. There can be a lot of role play going on. There could be also some scamming going on, depending on, let's say your moon is conjunct Neptune and it's square Venus, and that could be scamming due to money, like the person steals stuff from you. So you have to be very careful with the Pisces energy, because you basically put them on a pedestal. You either see them weaker as what they really are or how they present themselves, or you see them, like helpless, or, like that you need to come and save them, but they really might be scamming you or lying, or whatever the case may be, or they might be stronger than you think but they're just being lazy around you now. But this is a very mystical relationship. This is a very psychic relationship. It's a very private relationship. There can definitely be a scandal involved because of that Pisces energy. Once again, maybe coveting somebody that you can't necessarily have, that you can't have because they're in a relationship, but you're still wanting them, or playing the sidelines, or vice versa. Also, this person could be very glamorous. They could be a musician, an artist. They can deal within the marine biology field, anything to do with water, oils, or perfumes. Like, they can also work in hospitals or psychiatric wards. They spend a lot of time in isolation, essentially, whatever they do for work. They spend a lot of the time making their money by themselves. Most likely working from home as well, or working for themselves, or working in their hometown, or just in their private space. Can literally be working out their bedroom, painting, or something of that nature, being an artist. But this person is going to slip through your fingers. And Capricorns love concrete things. They love consistent things. They love the tangible world. You guys are very materialistic, and not in a negative sense, but you guys like to feel what it is. And Pisces is the fish. It is very elusive. It can play tricks on you. It can make you think one thing that it isn't, but it is that thing. It can reflect lies to you and delusions to you. So that's Pisces energy, you know, with all that on the 7th house. So you have to be really careful. Look at your aspects from your moon to your Pisces, to your Neptune, excuse me, and see what that's about. And also your Saturn with your Neptune, seeing if that's an issue as well. The more, if you have squares, you're just gonna basically, if you have a lot of squares and you don't have a trine or sextile from a helpful planet like Jupiter or Neptune or Moon, or, you know, Venus, or even Mercury, or even the Sun, then a lot of times you're gonna get bamboozled, you know, until you learn. But you're gonna learn. Everybody learns through their squares, because nobody wants to get bamboozled forever, you know. Some people do, some people don't. But you can also have a tendency to draw in homeless people, people who are wanderers, people who don't really have a home. You can draw in very extremely spiritual people as well, and people that might have issues with some type of addiction and keep it really quiet and private, or coming from a family that suffers from addiction or mental health issues. That can also be a thing. Or coming from a family of spiritualists, or all of the above, because Pisces is literally a mixed bag. So that's the decans for the 7th house. Now we're going to talk about your decans, Capricorn. So if you have a Capricorn rising from 0 to 10 degrees, you are a double Saturn energy, honey. This is the most ambitions of all the decans. Practical and persistent in attaining goals and objectives. If Saturn is afflicted, they do not hesitate to use people for their own needs. Saturn is upper part of the chart, energy drive for success exceedingly strong. If beneath the horizon, more desire to retreat from the world. So that also matters. Again, if your planets are from the houses 7 to 12, you want the public to see you. If they're from 1 to 6, you want to be more private. That's just how it goes in general, okay? And if it's a mixed bag, it might be because one of your bottom planets is aspecting your top planet. So it just depends on how you feel in the situation. And that's all depends on the company you keep. Okay, so, but double Saturn energy is just like, you grew up rough, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no way to beat around the bush. There was some type of loss, separation, something where you had to just grow up really fast. Capricorn is about Saturn, it's about hardships, limitations, it's about restrictions, it's also about the father, it's also about status, accolades, timing, patience. It's a karmic planet. It's very much about kicking your ass. It's the grandfather planet. So you could have definitely been raised by an elder with this Saturn because of maybe a death or a loss, because Saturn also brings death. So there could have been a death of a parent, a separation of a parent, and then an elder was taking care of you, somebody older in your life. So you could have been surrounded by older people. You could have been surrounded by more mature people. There could have been you could have had to work from a very young age. Work, whether you're a star athlete, whether you actually had to go to the store and work for your parents or your grandparents at their store. There was a lot of responsibilities. There was a lot of need to be home on time and kind of be like a early father figure, regardless if you're a man or a woman. You had to take that role on way earlier than everybody else, and this was make you very ambitious. You could have come from poverty, you know, and just been like, well, I can't have my family being poor. I need to take care of them. You know what I'm saying? I need to build this legacy. So Saturn kind of won't let you rest. Saturn makes you take the long route. It's slow and steady wins the race. It's a lot of ups, a lot of downs. It's a lot of blockages and barriers. So when you grew up, it was just one of those things, like, you don't have time to really feel. You don't have time to you can think about it for a second, but then you have to get to the next thing, because Capricorn is a cardinal sign, so it's all about action, it's all about initiative. And so when it comes to your business, you put a lot of effort, work into that, and you will definitely, you feel like you have to have a reward system for yourself, like a reward for you to even feel sad or happy, a reward for you to celebrate your wins, or, you know, any of those things. So you're always looking a way to master and improve yourself. And you're the type of person that you want to be the best. Saturn wants to be the best in the room. They want to be taken very seriously. You can have a very serious personality. I don't care if you have a bunch of Gemini placements. There's something about you that's extremely reserved, extremely like subdued, more introverted, because earth signs are introverted. Earth and air are introverted signs. And so there's something very protective that you have going on, you know, within you, and you're not willing to fucking lose. Now, if you have Capricorn from Capricorn rising from 10 to 20 degrees, you are the Venus Decan. So this quickens artistic nature and talent where music and the dance are concerned. Ability to attain success materially if Venus and Saturn are well aspected. Gives loyalty and endurance, can be quite stubborn if there are too many fixed signs. This individual can be his own worst enemy or his own best friend, self-undoing versus self-sustainment. So you work hard for your money, you ain't playing about it. You're going to always go get that bag. You're always going to go create a work relationship. You're always going to you love to work. Like, these people actually enjoy to work. They enjoy building their legacy because of the rewards that they're going to get from it monetarily, and the support they're going to get from it. A lot of the times you probably might end up working with your lover, your partner, might end up meeting them at work some type of way, shape, or form because of that Venus. This can also make you amazing at dressing, like really amazing at dressing, because Saturn takes themselves seriously. Saturn is also exalted in Libra, and Venus is a planet from Libra. Libra is about style, is about image. So I could see you, you know, having multiple businesses, like being suited and booted, very much caring about your work image, caring about just who you are, your status, working really hard towards that. You can be an amazing artist, an amazing business owner when it comes to having a Venusian type of business. So that deals with the arts, it deals with negotiations, and it deals with style, art, money, even, you know, money management. So you could be one of the best money managers, especially if you have, you know, your Saturn in the second house and you love money. So it's like, okay, let me learn how to manage this and invest it. Let me learn how to be a master interior. You could be an architect with this type of placement. You could be a dentist with this type of placement, because Saturn rules the bones, and you know, Venus is about beautifying things, so like making a nice beautiful smile. You can also be a nail tech. If Saturn was in the third house, you'd like to just work with fingers and nails and make everything look really pretty, but there's some type of artistic flair to you, even though you're serious, whether you're artistic through your own body, you know, and you have Venus in the first house and you want to show off your style like that, or if you do it through other means of your creativity because your Venus is in the fifth house, or, you know, through your writing because your Venus is in the third house. Like, it could be any of those things, but you definitely enjoy business. Like, you're business savvy, you're just really smart, and yeah, you have a lot of talent and you could probably become the best at something when it comes to some type of music or dance. So now, if you are a Capricorn rising with the 20 to 30 degree decan, you are in your Mercury energy. So this first, I didn't mention this, but the first one is double Capricorn. The second one is Capricorn and Taurus, because it's the earth sign, and this one is Capricorn and Virgo put together, okay? So this quickens discriminatory and intellectual faculties, apt to be critical and demanding if not careful, good worker in research, mental pursuits, and scientific endeavors, make good announcers and newspaper workers. Okay, so remember, Saturn is all about business. It also rules corporations. It rules, you know, the Targets, the Nikes, the Tides, like all the name brand things that falls under Capricorn. This is why a lot of times people with a lot of Capricorn placements, 10th house or Saturn aspect, are going to have a name brand business that a lot of people are going to know. And so with Mercury, Mercury is the planet of sales, right? Because it is also the planet of skills and word of mouth. So this is where the whole notion of making a good announcer and a newspaper worker, or people who write things, write books, write journals. You can become an adjunct professor when you get older, because Saturn rules maturity. And so when it comes to your words, you could be very, very methodical with your words, very serious, very elegant, very business-like when you're negotiating and when you're talking. You definitely have a lot of friends. When it comes to your business, you can also collaborate with your sibling or somebody close to you, close family friends. That's Mercury. And when it comes to your business, you can have a lot of employees at at some point in your life. Then also with Mercury, because it's about reading and writing, that's why I was saying that you could be a great researcher, okay? And Saturn rules things of the past, so this can be an archaeologist, sociologist, genealogist, like a person who deals with gathering information of Saturnian things and architecture, once again, so you could draw that out, or be the person that plans it and organizes it, things of that nature. But you're like a master organizer, a master speaker. When it comes to Mercury, Mercury is the power to communicate your thoughts, and Saturn takes things very seriously. So even if there's a square between them, you're going to figure out how to do it. If it's hard for you to express yourself, or hard for you to be taken seriously with Mercury square Saturn or Mercury opposite Saturn, it's you could be very mentally difficult on yourself. Even with that, you're still going to make sure that people hear you and they hear you good. You can definitely have a lot of write-ups in different newspapers and articles for your accolades and achievements because of that Mercury placement. You can also be an antique glasses collector, an antique car collector. You could be a coin collector, a newspaper, magazine collector, because again, Saturn is like old stuff from the past, okay? And Mercury is like, you can literally have an antique store with this placement. If you want that to be one of your side hustles, you can collect things, have a pawn shop, like that show on TV, Pawn Stars. So that's definitely something that could be happening there. Also, you could have multiple, like at least 2 jobs. You're probably gonna have at least 2 jobs because Mercury always rules double. Saturn is business. You could also have 2 father figures in your life, like two older people that you're like, those are my best friends. They're like my uncles, my brothers. That's like my uncle, but he's really my grandpa, or, something of that nature. My cousin is like my dad, or, something of that, like, because that person helped raise you and helped mature you. You get a lot of your knowledge through reading, through writing. You get a lot of your maturity through that. You learn through that. What else? There could have been a lot of salesmen in your family, a lot of merchants in your family, also speakers, teachers in your family as well because of that Mercury, and writers in your family. Your dad could have been one, or your grandfather, or your grandparents. What else do I want to say? I feel like that's a lot of information. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know which Decan you are, what you have on your 7th house, and the aspects between that. So now you really can know. You would look at your rising sign, your Decan, and understand those 2 planets and how they're interacting with each other. And that tells you a lot about who you are and how it gives you even more colors. You know what I'm saying? And so Mercury is going to give you more of this person's going to have more of an eclectic style. That person is going to wear more patterns, okay, even black. This person, is definitely a person who's going to have glasses and accessories, because Mercury is that. They can have coins in their pocket, wallets. You can have 2 phones for work type of things. And these are the little nuances that you can see within the astrological chart that will really show you your life. Like, this shit is so cool. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Ciao.